Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. I say another video, it's been like 6 months since I last did one, and there is a reason for that, and I will explain that in a second. But I thought I would show you my current planner setup, which is actually a lot more, I was going to say simple, but I don't know if it is, than previous. So up until about, when was my last video? December, I had been setting up my Cocoa Daisy kit every month using my subscription, and been doing regular videos on how I'd set that up and what it looked like at the end. However, I am not subscribing to Cocoa Daisy anymore, and that is because we're having a baby soon. It's due in about 6 weeks. So at the time, January time, I cancelled my subscription just to save a bit of money, and because although I was setting them up, I wasn't really using them that much. So I didn't think it was worth keeping the subscription going, even though I loved it. However, as you all know, anyone who subscribes to Cocoa Daisy, you always end up with lots of leftover bits. And I really love planning still, so I wanted to keep it all together and incorporate it somehow. So I went through my big stash of stuff, sold some stuff, but I also have put it all together in here. So this planner is the first one I ever bought. It's Webster's Pages, and this is the pretty pink colour, and obviously A5 size. It's still one of my favourite planners that I have. I love the colour. The quality is so good. You can just probably see a couple of little creases, but they have never really bothered me. They tend to drop out if you drop it or anything like that. Yeah, I just love how the colour is on these. The only reason I stopped using A5 when I was subscribing is because it gets really heavy. But this is the sort of thing now that is just going to stay at home on my desk, and open properly where I can see it. Obviously everything that's going on at the moment, with coronavirus and things, planning hasn't been as the way it usually would be. I've been off work since the end of March. Because of maternity leave, I will not be back until next May, so I don't have to worry about carrying my planner around with me at the moment. So I thought I would just go through it to show you how I set it up and how I've used my leftover bits and pieces. The other thing I will say is, you may have noticed my hands are completely scratched up. If you're wondering why, it was my cat. He wasn't being mean. He tried to kill himself and I rescued him, but he shredded my hands in the process, so that's why my hands look like that. Anyway, so what I did is I went for a sort of bullet journal type setup, but with a load of leftovers. So I always have to fluff that up. Now, I did sell lots of Cocoa Daisy stuff, but I couldn't bear to part with the clips and things. So pretty much this planner has all the clips I got from Cocoa Daisy in here. Regardless of theme or what they're like, they're just all in here. And some of these are my favourite ones. I love the mugs and the foam ones. That peacock is lovely as well. And these are just some of the packing cards that you get in the kits. So I just put them in there to sort of fill it out, make it pretty. And little post-it notes. These were quite a handy one because it was little things to do one, so keep those in the front there as well. The papers are all from Cocoa Daisy in here, I think. Yes, they all are. There are a couple of dashboards as well from Cocoa Daisy. There are some other company bits I've used in here, but I'll explain those when we get to them. So the paper is just some bullet journal paper from, I think it just came off Amazon. My sister actually gave it to me. I believe it came ready punched, and it fits perfectly into these planners, so good choice there. What I did first was a sort of goals page for 2020. Now I'm sure everybody's goals this year have changed or had to be adapted to become different. So I don't know how much of this we could stick to. For example, get back to the gym. Well, to start with, I'm pregnant. Gym isn't on my list of priorities walking is hard. But not only that, the gyms are all closed, so I couldn't even if I wanted to. But I have been trying to do things like keeping the house tidy. Don't really have an excuse since I'm home all the time. And trying to be a bit more creative with this bullet journal. I started doing some scrapbooking as well, so maybe I'll do a video on that, because I did use leftover Cocoa Daisy bits there as well. And sort of trying to relax a bit, because I'm naturally quite a stressy person and I don't feel like stress is a good idea at the moment, so I've been trying to do a few bits to keep calm and reduce that stress. So that was my sort of goals page. On the back I did a want versus need, but I don't really like how it turns out, so I tend to ignore it. This page is my mood tracker, and we're obviously in July now, so I tend to forget to fill this in, but what I tend to do if that happens is I have another little small planner that just tells me my appointments and dates and things, and using that I can tend to remember how I felt on what days, so I can normally fill that in afterwards. Good to see lots of purple and blue. I think I've been quite lucky with the way things have turned out this year, which I feel terrible to say when so many people are going through such horrible times, but for us it's worked nicely. It's meant we've both been off work together, we've both been able to enjoy the pregnancy at home ourselves without having to have the stress of work and that sort of thing. So I don't know if that's why it's so purple, or if, okay, I don't know if that's a racket, but a digger's just going past. Someone's getting loads of building work done. I hope that wasn't too noisy. I was just saying that hopefully all this purple and blue is just because of my practicing trying to be calm and not stressful and stuff this year. And I think I like how that looks, and I love this quote at the bottom. I can't remember where I saw it or where I got it from, but the most important decision you can make is to be in a good mood. And I think that's so true, that if you just go into something with a positive mindset, it makes all the difference. So that's why I've put it at the bottom there. I then did a habit tracker. I'm not very good at habit trackers because I forget to fill them in, so I made all the habits I wanted to do, and then what I did was do it up to August, because I thought baby's due in August, I'm going to be so distracted at that point, although as you can see I pretty much barely filled this in as it was. I used to really freak out, like if I forget. It used to really upset me if I'd forgotten to do it, and I'd try and go back and try and remember and then make it up. But to be honest, I don't mind. I'd rather know that these are accurate, what I filled in, and I've missed a few, than that I'd gone back and made it up or whatever. So it doesn't bother me too much that it's only half filled in, because it gives me a general idea of where I've been productive. But like I said, I only did it up to August because I thought I'd be too busy after that. I then made a thing of important dates, so birthdays, things like Valentine's Day, Pancake Day, because Pancake Day is really important, obviously. And I kind of colour coded it, so we've got winter, spring, summer and autumn. So I can, as you can see, July is an extremely busy month for me. So baby cannot be born this month. The digger's going back again, for goodness sake. Trouble is, we live on a road that is a new build road, and they're still building the other end, so we often hear a lot of diggers and things, so I apologise if that was really noisy. I then made a calendar for the rest of the year, just because I wanted something where I could just glance at it and see things. So I colour coded it to have blue as being time off, red as appointment, purple birthday and orange as events. Time off this year, as I said, has changed dramatically. So this is supposed to be all maternity leave, This was all supposed to be at work, but it's ended up being furlough, and actually I need to fill it in because I ended up not going back at all. But I like how this has turned out because it's meant I can have a quick look. I know what today's date is. I can see, obviously I've got a birthday next week, and some sort of event. Oh, it was a wedding that's cancelled. But I like that layout. I like being able to see a whole year in one go sometimes, which is why that's there. Skip that one. So then I did a bit of a baby plan checklist thing of everything we needed to buy for the baby. Clothes. Now, sidetrack, I think I've gone over the top with baby clothes. I've probably got all this stuff now. Only because I've seen some people talking about their baby. It's got like 5 baby grows and that's it. But I'm pretty sure he has like 10 just for newborn, and then 10 for 3 months, and just loads of, because I can't stop buying them because they're so freaking cute. But yeah, I thought I'd make at least a plan of what I wanted to do, although I've ended up buying way more than that. Then I have a new section for house plans. That first bit was just sort of general bullet journal stuff. So I started to make a food plan, a sort of 12-week food plan. Obviously there's only 6 weeks there because I didn't finish writing it out. But during lockdown, things like takeaways were closed and restaurants and stuff, so we didn't waste so much money eating out and we ate better. But I wanted to make a point of getting more varieties, so more veg, more equal balance between the sort of meat and fish and that sort of stuff. And so I made a sort of food plan, and I put it in the house plan section because I feel like it's related to the house. And I don't know about anyone else, but I just love making food plans, even though we never follow them, because on the day we're always like, oh, I don't fancy that. I don't know why, it's just so satisfying to make a food plan. And I get excited to make the different meals and stuff. And I did also come up with all these different meals and then start thinking of alternatives, what I could have meat free, what I could have for veg instead of pasta or something. That sort of thing on there. I don't know where that was clipped together, I just clipped it together. And then I had an idea for the garden. So again, during lockdown we were able to really sort our garden out, and this was a sort of plan we had about extending our patio or decking. We haven't done that, but we have been planting and things, so that worked quite well. And I like bullet journal for that because you can use the squares to give you an idea of size if you like. And then we get into the actual monthly planning. This is where I used tabs and paper from Cocoa Daisy Kits. Is that still recording? Yeah. I can't remember necessarily what papers came from what kits. I think these are sort of more recent. There are some older ones, but the tabs were all ones I had left in my, what are they called? What's the little packet of stuff you get? Die cuts. I had a box of them, of all the leftover ones, and I had loads of tabs I wanted to use. So what I did was I made all these bookmarks years ago actually. I think when I first found Cocoa Daisy I printed off all the old printables and made the bookmarks. So I used them to label my pages. And that sticker is not from Cocoa Daisy, but it annoys me because you write and it pops about. So what I did was I made a calendar on the bullet journal page, and I used a leftover daily to do as a sort of brain dump for the month. Now when I made this, I made it halfway through February, which is why there's only half of February there. Again, I use the same colour coding here to fill this in, and it just meant I could see everything I need to do this month and sort of use symbols and stuff to arrange where I was going to do it. And I quite like how that turned out. I have a couple of spare pages still, but I think what I'm going to save them for is next year and do something similar next year. But I quite like how it turns out, and I can clearly see everything I need to do for the month, what I've done and what I still have to do. So I'm quite pleased with that. Then I did the same for March. So again, I had the whole month of March this time, and my brain dump of everything I needed to do. March was the month we went into lockdown, so I tried to make myself a little, what would you call it, like a rota or something, because I didn't want to just get lazy and stop being productive. I wanted to use those hours where I'd normally be at work for doing something productive. This is probably the most productive thing I did. I made this plan and literally never stuck to it, but having it in here makes me feel organised. I then did a sort of pregnancy tracker. So we got the how big the baby was, appointments, weight gain, that sort of thing. This was probably the only week I did this for properly. Although it's quite nice to have that as a double page. It looks quite cool. I did do a budget tracker this month as well, but only for half the month, and I always forget to keep up with those, so I didn't bother doing that again. Because March was the start of lockdown and the start of when coronavirus really started to kick off in the UK, I thought I would keep a sort of log of everything that happened, because this is literally like history in the making. I mean, in 20 years time we're going to be talking about this, so I thought I would document everything that we experienced and what happened and when, just because I think it's important to remember that sort of thing. April, again the same with April. I laid it out exactly the same with the month there and my sort of brain dump list of things to do on that side. April I did a bigger food plan, and I think that looks really cool, and I can't wait to be doing these properly. It was difficult to stick to. I don't think we did. We more than, well, I 100% guarantee we did not follow this food plan. But it makes me feel organised to have it in there, so I tried. So that was when I tried to do pregnancy tracker that month, but I just never got around to finishing that one. So May, I had a dashboard I wanted to use up, and I'd already decorated it before, so I just put it in there as a bit of pattern and stuff. I tried something different on the front of May. I did a currently in goals, but obviously didn't get very far with that. So I just paper clipped that to it. And again, laid out exactly the same. For this month, I had a bunch of Webster's pages, what would you call them, week on 2 pages left over. So I thought this would be a good place to start including a bit of a journaling type thing. So I started doing that here. These are just colouring up bits that are kind of personal. But I like how that sort of turned out. Because they're blank, they're undated, you can use them how and when you want to. And I just sort of made a few notes on stuff that we'd done over the week. Because again, as horrible as everything is, this was an opportunity that we're never going to have again, for us both to be off work together for such a long period of time. So it gave us opportunity to get stuff done, and I thought I wanted to document that, so that's what I did there. So I did that for each week. There's the spare pages again, and another dashboard. So June, again exactly the same. I started to just put the colour at the bottom instead of filling out the whole box, because I thought it made it a bit easier. I also introduced a sleep tracker. Again, I haven't done it every day, but it goes back to that whole thing about not stressing if I haven't filled it in every day. Just because I wanted to get an idea of how much I was sleeping, because obviously I'm going to end up losing out on sleep when this baby arrives. So I would like to know what sleep I function on. And I started napping in the afternoon a lot in this lockdown. Whether that's because I'm more tired or just because I'm not really doing anything, I don't know. But I did notice I have been having more naps. So I changed my pregnancy tracker to this sort of thing, because a lot of the Webster's pages, the way the months work out, if they start at the end of the month, we end up with a blank page. So again here I thought I'd make a note of the size of the baby, my weight, any sort of symptoms I've been having, just to again look back on in the future. It's quite interesting to know. So that's what I've done there. And again, I just had my sort of journaling bit. Sometimes I didn't really do a lot of it, but I'll probably try and go back and fill things in, like I said, from my other little planner, just my general appointments and stuff. I can generally work out what we did on what day. And we've got July, so exactly the same again. That's obviously the current month. So I haven't necessarily ticked off a lot of stuff, and things have been changing this month in terms of lockdown and work, and David's gone back to work, and all sorts of things are not happening or are happening, so I've had to change it around a little bit, but that works quite well. There was just a dashboard I made again years ago, but I really liked it, so I put it in. And my sleep tracker again. There's a blank version of the pregnancy tracker thing. Sometimes, I don't know if anyone else who's pregnant has found this, you'll go on one app and it will tell you your baby's the size of a coconut, and then you got a different app and in 6 weeks time it says coconut again. And you're like, well, surely he's grown since then. So I tried to find the most consistent things I could there. So again, I need to go back and write a few things in, but I just wanted to mention these little stickers. These are from a company called Box Clever Press. I freaking love their stickers because they have so many. They have everything you don't even don't think of. Like, for example, oh, I haven't put them in for July. Did I do it for June? Try and find them. Where are they? I thought I'd done it. Maybe I did it for August. I don't know. But they have recycling stickers, so you can put in like when recycling is, and whether it's glass recycling, food recycling, whether it's rubbish or garden waste. And they've just got everything that you don't necessarily normally get in stickers. They've got things like dentist, optician, hairdressers, like literally everything. Wedding, anniversary, parties, birthdays, barbecue night, garden party, anything you can think of there's a sticker for pretty much. So I love their stickers, and I really love their like family life book that they have anyway, and I'm really tempted to get one again because they are awesome. So yeah, those are stickers I feel really passionately about. They're pretty cool. Oh, here we are. Waste, recycling, food waste. Like, they've just got stickers for everything. Awesome. Yeah, and then obviously we've got the next few months, which I started to set up. Haven't necessarily gone that far ahead yet, although at some point I want to, because again, after the baby's here, I might not have the time. Well, guaranteed you I will be busy. But that's pretty much how I set up for the rest of the month. I try to stick with a general idea of themes, so September starts getting more autumny. So I just used washi tape to go over where I punched the holes before. I dated those ones wrong, so I had to go for stickers. Luckily I had some. And yeah, that's all I've done for the rest of the year. But like I said, this planner's a bit heavy. It doesn't fit in my bag. I wouldn't take it around with me. But it's great to just like have out on your desk or next to your bed or something where you can just have a quick look. And what I do plan on doing when I get some printer ink is making use of those free printables that they do. I always forget how good a value they are for being free printables. You've got whole pages you can print out as many times as you want. So I am very tempted to do that. Yeah, so then, oh, that digger's coming back again. What are they doing? I'm being nosy. Yeah, so that is my whole planner for this year, all set up, ready to go pretty much, with a few sort of spare pages at the back that I've just clipped in just in case. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and if I do something messy I won't like it and I want to do it again. So that's why I keep those in there. It is quite full. It's a little hard to close, but I just love it with all these tabs along the top. Just so satisfying to look at. But yeah, that is my whole bullet journal planner for 2020. I'm pleased with how it turned out. and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.